Hey, it's me, Ellie. I'm the DM of ClockTower and I guess a 3D generalist, as well as a digital artist. And I do some traditional watercolor stuff occasionally as well, for those who know me in person. I've been doing art for most of my life, but I finally decided to make a new channel from our main D&D podcast channel, ClockTower. I've debated about doing something like this for a long time, and the general idea of this channel isn't supposed to be a stream of regular content or anything extensive that I'm going to break my back keeping up to date. Not that I might not do that anyway, with how I hyper-focus on things, but this channel is just supposed to be a log of my experiences working in multimedia in the ever-expanding quest to animate ClockTower, or at least something ClockTower related. So how else would you expect me to start this than with anyone else than Skeleton King? So yeah, I made a skeleton in Blender. There were a bunch of reasons why I had made this. One of the main ones being that I needed a good skeleton model for the ClockTower snapshots for our Patreon. But it ended up being a huge project that I really got sucked into and went down the rabbit hole on, to where I made an entire skeleton by myself and rigged it completely by myself, following the amazing class from P2 Design about the art of effective rigging. If anybody hasn't taken that class and it wants to know more about rigging, I highly recommend it. It's a great teacher, and everything that he does in there, I'm not paid, by the way, this is not a sponsorship. This is just, it's a great class. But I made a skeleton. As with almost everything I do, it ended up as an animation test, or some sort of test. This is also my latest Blender project, definitely not my first. I had a lot of other projects I started before this, all of which, I'll probably start over rather than returning to. So back to the skeleton. I spent a lot of time on YouTube looking through Blender tutorials, from Spider-Verse style compositions to arcane painterly filters, and unfortunately, I've learned a very real truth. There are no shortcuts. Well, actually there are. There are hundreds of softwares, add-ons, models you can buy, asset packs. You can spend a small fortune and have a massive digital library. And I have no doubt that if you did, you could throw together some amazing scenes, and I'm sure people do. My problem is, I like to make things myself. And my additional problem is, I'm also poor. And while I've definitely purchased some Blender add-ons that make my life a little bit easier, I've found that, like every other art medium in the world, the biggest shortcut is to not take one. Learn the fundamentals. Find out why things are done a certain way. When you learn the how and the why from people who already know what they're doing and have a good foundation, it's a lot easier to expand and do your own thing. The best quote I can think of is from Fortiche, the people who made Arcane. When asked how they made the Arcane models look painterly, they responded with, "We painted them." I think that statement says everything, much more than I can in a throwaway video about my little silly skeleton guy. I guess I should tell you a little bit more about the skeleton before I go. I fully rigged it myself, following the video as I said before, and his hat and his jacket were one of the hardest things to rig. The skeleton himself is actually easier than most things to rig because bones don't really deform. You can add a little bit of stretching for being able to do stylized animation, which is something that I have been looking into trying to do. And he does move pretty well. And I'm experiencing some clipping issues with his hat and his coat, but altogether, I think it's a pretty solid start and a pretty good pipeline for moving forward. I think that this skeleton, as with a lot of things, Skeleton King might be one of the first real steps into showing what I can do as far as the show and the animation and the art is concerned. I'm really proud of it, actually. I guess that's why I made a video of it. And I'm hoping to make more small videos like this in the future. I won't be killing myself to make them, and the main show, ClockTower, a D&D 5e experience, will always continue to be my main focus. As we continue to expand that universe and story, so too do I hope to continue expanding my art and showing off more of it. This channel is the place to do it. So, if you want to see more of that, feel free to subscribe, comment that you would like me to keep making these little videos, and if you wanted to learn more about how I did it, I'd be happy to make more videos on that. I didn't record the process, so I'll have to retroactively go back and figure some things out and do some explaining, but this channel is supposed to be for sharing, so when you share art, it comes back to you. And until then, time's ticking. See you in the clock tower.